Hey, what's up you guys? It's Kevin here. Sorry I've been away for so long, but welcome back to my channel, Live and Breathe Music. Sorry about the long wait on videos, guys. I've just been wanting to do something different with my content, so I'm going to incorporate more discussion type videos on this channel, and today I have a very special guest to help me do so with the first discussion video. Come on.
God.
Just found this guy on the street.
On the street?
On the street.
Alright, we'll roll with it.
This is my best friend, Scott, from...
Best friend?
We're basically family.
Okay. Now we're back on the same page.
From...
Where am I from?
You have a YouTube channel too.
Do I?
Yeah.
I don't know the name of it right now. It's under numerous names right now, so...
Currently, I believe it's still under the underground scene.
It's possible.
What do you do on that channel, man?
What don't I do? I do video game reviews, movie reviews, some music reviews, discussion videos.
He does it all.
I don't do it all. I try to, but it's not possible.
Anyway, guys, so I've seen a lot of other YouTubers talk about this. You guys know what I'm all about here. I'm all about music here. So we are going to talk about music in 2016. As the video says, what did 2016 sound like? Guys, a lot of YouTubers have already said it. 2016 was somewhat of a disappointment this year in terms of music. So we're just going to talk about some of our thoughts on that. If you guys like this more of discussion form of videos, let me know in the comments. Let me know what you'd like to see me or Scott can come back on. Let me know what I should talk about here with other people.
And remember, hit the subscribe button. It's not hard. It's just a click. It's just a click.
Unless you have a messed up finger, that might be a little uncomfortable.
There's 5 fingers.
Yeah, you can use that one.
And if you think about the other one, it's 10.
Click with that.
So it's 10 altogether. And if you got toes.
Not even gonna argue with that.
Just saying.
Anyway, guys, so
subscribe. That's what we're getting at.
Yeah, 2016 honestly was a weird year for music. A lot of bands decided to branch out into different styles. And, you know, a lot of newer bands are coming up with brand new styles. So it was a weird year for music. We're going to talk about some of our examples of music this year that we thought were just not up to par. Scott, you got one that you want to talk about first?
I mean, the first thing that comes to my mind is, like Kevin said, bands are branching out. And there's nothing wrong with branching out. Try different things. I mean, you got bands who's been in the music industry for God knows how long now, but... You know, one band that sticks out to me, and you know, they're a great band. Their album was great, in my opinion, is Skillet. You know, they branched out.
Alright, guys, before you say anything about that, though, I know that Skillet's Unleashed got a lot of shit for being very, very similar.
Yes.
But if you really pay attention to it, it doesn't sound like, say, Awake or Rise. There's a lot of different songs on it. You've got a straight-up worship song like Stars, and a very electronic-driven song like Saviors of the World.
Well, and that's what I'm getting at is you know, you take Star. Okay, first of all, you hear the name Skillet. Okay, you think of Hero. You think I mean there's multiple, you know, singles that you can name off that when you hear it, you know it's Skillet. Okay, you take Stars and you put it on the radio and you're going, who is this? Who's singing this? Not saying it's not a bad song. It's just not a song that you expect from them. It's a slower, more Christian-based song. Granted, yes, Skillet is a Christian rock band, but, you know, I'm thinking of Hero, like I said, and I keep using Hero because it's one of the greatest ones that they have, in my opinion. It's one of them that got me hooked into them as a band. But, you know, another thing is a lot of songs are starting to repeat themselves as well. You know, it's... Once again, and I keep using Skillet as a reference because that's who I've been listening to the most lately. But you take Invincible, Undefeated, it's all being repeated. It's just one word being repeated several times, and it gets tiring after a while because it's a good song. It's got a good beat. It's got a good music drive. The lyric there is not there.
The message is there, but the lyrical content is very recycled. We've heard it in the past 3 or 4 albums now.
Right, and what was the song that I was telling you about earlier? Bring Me Back? Bring Me Back?
Back from the Dead.
Back from the Dead, thank you. It's a song from an older album that they've had. It's the same music, but a different lyrical take to it. And
No, that was a different song. So what we came to notice, as I think a lot of other people have noticed, if you listen to the song I Want to Live off of Unleashed, play it side by side to Awakened Alive from Awake, and notice that they are literally the same song, just slightly different lyrics.
I mean, it's...
Guys, this is one of the sides on the spectrum where bands are becoming very stale and they're playing it too safe. But songs like Stars actually did do the job in branching out. I love that song.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. It's not a bad album. It's just bands are starting to branch out, and I'm fine with them branching out, but stick to what they, and I hate to say it this way, but stick to what they know. So when you see Skillet branch out, I like to see them branch out getting harder or softer, not going towards the pop side of rock or to the heavier side of rock, even though they're heavy, some songs. But that's the thing that's wrong is, as a fan base, you know, you got fans that are like, yeah, this is awesome, but then you got your hardcore fans who's been through with you from the first album disagreeing with this album because you branched out the wrong way.
Well, you know, we can talk about another album that a lot of people have given a lot of shit to, that the band did the opposite of that. You know what I'm talking about, guys. A Day to Remember, Bad Vibrations. Coming off of Common Courtesy, which was very, very A Day to Remember, going into Bad Vibrations, which they said it was going to be heavier. There's a lot of that, but there's a lot more, I don't even know what you would classify it as, more like straight up alternative rock songs, like Naivety, Justified.
There's like 2 or 3 songs that are heavy like there used to be, but there's more of the, like you said, the alternative soft.
But people are giving flack to the heavy songs.
Right, and
Exposed, Paranoia
guys
are getting terrible
reviews.
reviews.
Remember is known to put in meaning in their songs, and yes, it's a lot harder to understand the meanings in their songs, but listen to them. That's what they want you to do, is listen to them. They just don't want you to listen to the musicality of the song. They want you to listen to the whole thing. They want you to listen to the lyrics, get into the song. You know, you listen to Paranoia, okay, it's heavier, okay? Well, what is it talking about? There's several meanings in that song, but you just gotta...
I think I actually read somewhere that Paranoia is supposed to be a song representation of what a panic attack feels like.
Right, and I mean, that's understand that when these guys write these songs, they go through these things. They don't just write songs because they want to write songs. It's how they... The
substance is still there no matter what.
Right.
And
they experience the stuff firsthand.
And regardless of the sound that they choose to go with, the substance is still there, guys. It's still very A Day to Remember. So, though it was a bit of a letdown compared to past records, just because the songs don't stick with you as much because of how different some of them can be. Like, what's a good example for you? You talked about... I know you said Bullfight is one of your favorites.
Yeah, well, Bullfights is one of my favorites.
Which Bullfight rubbed me the wrong way the first time I listened to it.
Well, it's a one that you have to ease into. I mean, what got me was the musicality. Once again, that's why I went wrong. You need to listen to the whole song to grasp on it. But a lot of people, just like myself, did on that one. You just listen to the musicality, and it's like, all right, yeah, this song's cool.
You know, one point I want to talk about in 2016... I know you said 2016's been a bit of a rough year for everybody, but a lot of these records that came out were written before 2016. Why is everything so dark and depressing, guys? If you're going to change your style, go for it. But why does every lyrical content that comes out on an album, why is everybody so sad and unhappy?
So that's one thing.
That's also really recycled content.
I mean, I don't get it. I mean, it's one of those things that you sit there and you scratch your head on when you listen to an album.
Literally, I'm scratching my head.
It almost makes you not want to listen to the album again.
No, one prime example. And guys, if you've seen my review, you know I fanboyed to hell on this record. I reviewed Asking Alexandria as the Black way back in March. I gave it a perfect score. Guys, that album is just way too depressing. Every song is trying to be so dark that even when the uplifting songs that are trying to be happy, like Send Me Home, they don't work because they're smack in the middle of all of these dark songs.
Right.
And looking back, that album is not good at all, guys. It didn't make my top 10 list at all.
Well, I mean, let's think about it, okay? Out of all the albums that were released that we've listened to, you and I both, let's be honest, maybe 3 or 4 that caught my attention, honestly. and I couldn't even tell you what the names are because that's how much I listen to them.
I know Skillet was one of the big ones for you. A Day to Remember is kind of fluctuating in and out.
Well, I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, Skillet and A Day to Remember, I listened to them because I followed them from day one.
It's almost like you're obligated to listen to them just because, regardless of if they're bad or good, it's like you followed this band for years, so you're almost obligated to listen to the new record.
I hate to throw it out this way, but 2015, okay, I'm a big follower of Papa Roach. The biggest letdown of an album, in my opinion. Some of y'all may disagree, but to me, it was a big letdown.
I think a lot of people would agree with you on that.
So, I mean, that's pretty much all I got to say.
Guys, I think a positive that we can take away from this, though, with the way older bands are changing their style and not necessarily liking the music that they're doing anymore. The biggest culprit for me of that last year was We Came as Romans with their self-titled. Now we have the new Suicide Silence album coming out, and Eddie's decided that he doesn't want to really scream much anymore, and Suicide Silence at their core have always been a heavy but melodic band with screaming. And now Eddie just wants to sing. What is
I mean,
if you don't want to scream, then don't scream from the get-go, but don't do a complete 180 with your music.
I mean, I hate to use them as a reference, but Linkin Park, okay? They have a melodic singer and then they have a screamer. That's what they need to do then, is they need to bring somebody in who can scream, because it does take a toll on the vocals when you scream. I mean, Jeremy from A Day to Remember, I can tell you right now, his vocals hurt every night after he does a concert.
But he has found the right technique to use to,
it takes
keep his voice above par.
You look at, as we ask Romans, correct?
No, We Came as Romans.
We Came as Romans. See?
Such a big fan over here.
Yeah. But you take them and you take A Day to Remember, okay? Who's been singing longer? A Day to Remember, okay? Jeremy's been singing with this band for 10 plus years, so he knows how to balance it, okay? Whereas they are just new to the industry. Not saying he hasn't been singing, doing this for a while, but he doesn't know how to balance it just yet. So it's going to take a toll on his vocals, so he's not going to be able to give the fans what they want.
Well, I mean, I've seen A Day to Remember twice now, and I can actually say that in the past couple years, probably 3 years or so, Jeremy, actually even further than that, all the way back to What Separates Me From You, Jeremy really knows how to step it up and keep the vocals above par. Both times I've seen him, incredible performer, sounds just like the record, it's phenomenal. But guys, the main thing you can take away from these bands getting older in 2016 now and changing their sounds, that gives leeway for new bands to come in with new styles, which I'll talk about some of those on my top 10 albums of 2016, what I'm going to put at the end of this video. It gives leeway for new bands to come up and come in with new and innovative sounds when the old ones are dying out. Sad to phrase it that way, but a lot of them are losing their drive, so it only makes sense that new bands would come in.
I mean, and you're going to have new bands and new music come out, but it's the fact of the older bands that we all come to know. And yes, they do it so it's not similar every time, but branching out that far to basically a new genre.
There's a happy balance of branch out to expand, but only do it at a certain rate. Biggest culprit of that last year, guys, I know everybody loves this album, but biggest culprit of branching too far, in my opinion, happened in 2015 with Bring Me the Horizon, going from Sempiternal to That's the Spirit. Biggest jump possible, and that record let me down. It was too big of a change.
Like I said, there's nothing wrong with branching out from the beginning of this video. The thing that gets me is when you branch out to the point you're almost in a new genre, and it's not you. It's not that band. You know, so we as fans run out to the store and buy this album, or we buy it on iTunes or wherever we're buying it at, and we pop it in, or we just click on it and listen to it, and then we go on and go, this ain't what I bought. You know, this is not the band that I bought. And then
singles are almost misleading nowadays. Well, you put a single out that you like. One, I love this album, but Crown the Empire, they put out the song Zero to kind of sound like the old records, and they said this in an interview. They put out Zero to prove that they hadn't changed, and then the rest of the record just goes off in completely different directions.
Just like what we was talking about earlier today, Kevin, is the Day Remember. Okay, first single was Paranoia. Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, that came out 5 months before the album release.
5 or 6 months, something like that. Yeah.
Okay, and then the next one was Naivety.
No, Bad Vibrations.
Bad Vibrations.
So it went, Paranoia came out in March, Bad Vibrations in June, Bullfight in July, and then Naivety in August. So
Okay.
4 singles before the record
Now,
dropped.
the first 2 singles were the only things that we could listen to for what, 3 or 4 months until they dropped the third one?
I actually stopped myself from listening to the other 2 singles because I didn't want to spoil the album.
And now it's like the 2 of the most hated singles on the album because it's been played so much that that's another problem with singles is I understand bands like to release singles to give us a taste of what's coming out, but at the same time it's almost ruining the album because we get so tired of hearing that album or that single is so good we expect something bigger, and then we get the album and it's like,
Guys, I'm going to throw this in here. How many of you would like to see a discussion on are singles ruining or spoiling albums? Because I think that'd be a really interesting topic to talk about on here. But yes, promotion in 2016 as a whole was terrible. Too many songs being released before the album, and then A Day to Remember actually got pushed back once or twice.
well, that was the whole reason of them releasing the 4th single because it got pushed back.
Yeah, just to tide people over. So guys, all in all, 2016 was just a really weird year. There's still a lot of bands that did manage to come through with amazing records. Don't get us wrong, we didn't hate everything. We don't hate Bad Vibrations. We love Skillet despite what everybody else says. If you hate on that album, give it another chance, because don't hate it just because people tell you to.
Well, that's another pet peeve of mine is people just getting on the bandwagon.
Yeah, bandwagoning. There was a lot of that in 2016, for sure. So guys, what do you think? Do you think 2016 was a weird year in music? I know I've seen a lot of other YouTubers say it was a disappointing year. Let me know in the comments of some albums that let you down or some things you didn't really care for in 2016, and what do you want to see in 2017? 2017. Step it up.
Let's go.
Let's see some
Let's go.
mind-blowing albums.
Dude.